Americans have somehow convinced themselves that pretzels are difficult. In Germany, they are a regular Tuesday. And the one ingredient everyone seems to be terrified of is probably the reason why you ate hundreds of those without even thinking about it. Today we're looking at two of the most common soft pretzel brands. That's Pretzilla and SuperPretzel. And then we'll make some from scratch using what German bakeries have used for generations. Und los! Pretzel buns are one of those products that almost look intimidating. They're dark, they're shiny, and they have this nice chewy crust to them. You'd think there is some industrial magic at work. Turns out, not really. I actually bought two different products simply because the ingredient lists are almost boring. My local store was out of the buns from this brand, but the ingredient list is exactly the same, so the only difference is the shape. The difference between those two has mostly to do with shelf life and consistency for machining. In this episode, we are mainly focusing on pretzel buns because it's grilling season. Let's start with Pretzilla. Enriched wheat flour, water, vegetable oil, sugar, yeast. Nothing unusual there. And then there's a few additives: salt, barley flour, distilled vinegar, calcium propionate, and ascorbic acid. That's pretty straightforward for an industrial product. We don't need to talk about the water, but we have vegetable oil, so that's canola or sunflower flour. It actually softens the dough and helps with browning. Then there's sugar. I have the feeling that the sugar in this recipe is not solely to get your yeast started, but also for flavoring, simply because it's listed in 4th place on that ingredient list. Well, up to here, nothing surprising. White distilled vinegar. Now this is an interesting one. Vinegar lowers the pH of the resulting dough. That makes it less hospitable for bacteria. It also makes the dough a little softer. Now the calcium propionate. This is pretty much the only thing I would criticize in this recipe because it's a preservative. Its job is to slow down bacterial growth, and you can easily see that when you look at the date. It reads 7/29, and I'm filming this a month before that. So these things have over a month of shelf life, which is quite long for a bread. Our homemade version will lack that ability, so you gotta eat those a lot quicker. The last ingredient is the ascorbic acid. That is simply vitamin C. Finally, the enzymes. Enzymes aren't one single ingredient. That's an entire category of molecules. They're naturally occurring proteins that perform certain functions. For example, split starches into sugars. Your saliva contains them to start breaking down starches before your food even hits your stomach. Since the added enzymes start converting some of the starches into sugars, it helps the yeast, it helps fermentation, and it helps browning. Enzymes are usually temperature sensitive, so they are not present in the final product. Pretty boring, honestly. Let's look at the SuperPretzel. Instead of the calcium propionate, they're using a cultured wheat-based mold inhibitor. Different approach and actually a little bit more modern, because this one doesn't involve a complicated chemical process. It's essentially what a sourdough starter comes with naturally, which is one of the reasons why a sourdough bread has a surprisingly long shelf life. There's also a dough conditioner, which simply makes the dough more consistently machinable. Again, the enzymes, the ascorbic acid, we already covered those. And then we have some ingredients that get people wondering. Bicarbonates and carbonates of soda. Carbonates of soda are actually the result that happens when you bake your lye-dipped pretzel in the oven. The lye converts into carbonates of soda. So after looking at both of these labels, they're both fairly straightforward products. The difference to our homemade version is that we don't need any of these additives to make the dough compliant with a machine or to have the product sit on a shelf for weeks. Let's talk about the scary bottle for a minute. This is food-grade sodium hydroxide, about 2 pounds of it. It's what makes a pretzel, and without it, our pretzel buns would be nothing but a regular bun with good marketing. Lye, which is dissolved sodium hydroxide, is responsible for pretty much everything that you would associate with a proper pretzel. It's the dark color, it's the shiny skin, it's the salty flavor. Even the unmistakable pretzel aroma starts with this. Yet, this is where most Americans immediately become uncomfortable. They hear the word lye, and they immediately associate drain cleaner with it. The thing is though, concentration matters. Yes, if you pour this down a drain, it will clean the drain, no doubt about it. Pure sodium hydroxide like this is a substance you want to be careful with. It can hurt you if handled improperly, but to be honest, that bottle of bleach on your washer scares me a lot more than this bottle of sodium hydroxide. Annually, the US records over 2,000 chlorine gas inhalation accidents stemming from regular household bleach. Some of them so severe that the victims pass away. All it takes is accidentally mixing bleach with any kind of acid, like vinegar for example, and you have yourself a deadly cloud of chlorine gas in your garage. Lye doesn't do that, plus we are only using a 3 to 4% solution. So it's very little sodium hydroxide on a hell of a lot of water. So respect it, but there's no need to fear it. You don't want it in your eyes though, so wear glasses that prevent the accidental splatter from hitting your eye. Always add the sodium hydroxide to the water. Never pour water over sodium hydroxide. The reaction produces heat and can cause splashing. By adding the sodium hydroxide to the water will absorb the reaction and the heat. For containers, use glass, plastic or stainless steel, because this alkaline reacts with aluminum, and if you've ever tossed one of these Italian mocha pots into your dishwasher, it turns black. That's exactly the reaction. Now, inevitably I will get the comment, can't I use baking soda? Yes, technically you can use baking soda. It's a very weak alkaline. You won't get the same result though, because the reaction on the surface of the bun is a lot weaker. So you won't get much of the color and definitely not much of the flavor that you expect from a pretzel. It will simply not be the pretzel that you think of when you hear the word pretzel. 5 basic ingredients, that's it. If you baked bread before, none of this will surprise you. I've got 500 grams of flour. For the liquids, take the water, a little dash of sugar, just to get all the yeast excited. About 7 grams of yeast, I'm eyeballing this. And about 2 tablespoons of any oil or molten butter. Let it sit for a few minutes. If it starts bubbling up, you know your yeast is alive. In the meantime, you just add the salt to your flour and give that a quick mix. Now you see our yeast is nice and active. And now you just combine it. This dough needs kneading. You can do this in your stand mixer, no problem, some 5 to 8 minutes maybe. Or you just do it by hand as I'm gonna do it. Once you've kneaded it for a few minutes, cover it and let it rise until it's double its size. This is what it looks like. Now let's divide it somewhere between 6 and 8 pieces out of this dough. I reserve a little of the dough so I can show you how to make pretzel bites. If you want to divide dough into equal parts, the easiest way is to half it. So you eyeball the half, then you half it again, then you half it again, and there you have relatively even-sized pieces. Shape them into balls. Once you've shaped them all, put them on a baking sheet that's lined with a silicone liner. Do not use parchment paper. These things will be wet after we dip them, and the parchment paper will simply stick to that bun and you can't get it off. Let me show you how to make pretzel bites. You simply roll out the dough to about, let's say, 1 inch thickness, and then you just cut tater tot sized pieces. Bring these into the shape you like. You can make them balls or a little cylindrical, and then you just put them on your baking sheet together with the rest. That done, cover them and let them rise for about an hour. After the rise, the whole tray goes into the fridge for about an hour without any cover. You want these to dry off. They're forming kind of a skin when drying out, and that's what you want because that's what the lye is gonna adhere to much better. Now there comes the famous Lye Bath. couple of gloves, any kind of glasses. Doesn't have to be safety glasses, just something that covers your eyes. They don't have to soak. Just a few seconds is more than enough. And there we go. If you want to use pretzel salt, now is the time, because now it will stick. Of course, I'm going to use some pretzels without salt. Not a thing in my household. I just realized those Pretzilla things don't have salt on them. Now that's an omission. But they do have a cut, so we're going to do that too. Now pop this into the oven and add some steam. 380 to 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Here they are. Beautiful shine, nice color, and the difficult part, waiting till they've cooled down. Time for the only test that really matters. No sauces, no burger. If a bun can't impress on its own, it's not worth putting a quarter pound of meat on it. Let's start with the Pretzilla. It has a very nice dark color. It smells like a pretzel. It is very, very soft, and it has very little bounce. The skin is surprisingly thin. You can actually taste the sugar. It has this like sweet touch to it. Now for the homemade version. It has a nice crunch. The crust is considerably thicker. You definitely get a lot more pretzel flavor. I have to admit though, bread that came out of the oven half an hour ago has a very unfair advantage over something that was baked 2 weeks ago and just reheated. Now let's quickly check the bites. I think I overcooked them. Or maybe not. The crust is a bit too thick, so I'm thinking 20 minutes in the oven is a bit long for those small things. So, in Germany, the typical condiment for a pretzel or a pretzel bun is butter. It's not mustard, it's not some kind of dip. Don't tell a German you're dipping your pretzel into mustard. That will cause an international incident. Butter or make it a burger. Let me know in the comments how you usually enjoy pretzels or pretzel buns. These buns are excellent for a burger and really good with bratwurst. And those little bites, if you bring them to the party, they'll be gone in no time.